going on, everybody? So I've done my top 10 worst horror movies, my top 10 best horror movies, my top 10 disappointments, my top 10 worst movies, and now it's time to cap it off with the top 10 best movies of 2019. Once again, this is all opinion based. I understand that there are movies that are probably made way better than the ones that I put towards the top, but it's about personal preference and would I want to watch these movies again and again. Alright, it's not about the technical aspects and whatnot, the best acting. Who gives a shit? It's my opinion. Fuck off. Number 10, Doctor Sleep. Very long movie, but it's got some good acting, some great characters. I really felt for this main guy and the girl. I wanted them to succeed. I like the other guy who was in that Die Hard 4 movie. I forget his name, but when he dies, and there are going to be spoilers and all this shit, so yeah, when he dies, whatever, that actually got to me. I love that third act, where they go, all the fan service paid to the fans of the original Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. Keep blanking on the director's name, but he is great, so keep an eye out on him. Moving on. Number 9 goes to Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is not his best film, not even close, but it was still fun. And once again, I love that third act when Brad Pitt is just brutalizing those assholes. It made me laugh. Just the brutality, it's funny violence, and that's what Tarantino is known for. He goes for that over-the-top violence, and you get it in that third act, and goes in a place that you didn't see coming. There are a lot of scenes that you can take out of it, so that's why it's all the way down here. It feels like it's longer than it needs to be, and there's not really much of a plot to it, but it's still entertaining. I love the 60s sets and how they redid like Hollywood in 1969. It's one of the best performances by Leonardo DiCaprio, and I love Cliff Booth, that character by Brad Pitt. Amazing. So yeah, number 9, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 8 goes to Rambo Last Blood. Critics shit all over this movie, but that's because they all know how to have a good time. This is a good time. It's a fast-paced action revenge movie. My favorite genre of action is revenge. I like to see somebody get what's coming to them, and you get it in this in spades. He is just taking out assholes left and right, Kevin McAllister style, setting up Home Alone traps, and there is gore galore. It is violence at its best. It's not as violent as Part 4 Rambo, but it's the second most violent Rambo film of them all. It's probably not the best ending. I think Part 4 was a good enough ending for the franchise, but I'm glad we got this one because it is just fun. So yeah, Rambo Last Blood, you deserve to be in this list. Next up, Zombieland 2 Double Tap. We got the returning characters. I can't remember their names right now, but they're all still fantastic. I love them, and I like the new setting and the White House, and then it's like a road trip movie to go save this girl that ran away, but there's lots of great comedy in it. There's some zombie gore in it, and it's got a very bombastic, very monster truck blasting third act. Monster trucks are loud. Have you heard of monster truck in real life? It will pierce your eardrums. But it was a great movie. It was a blast. I was laughing my ass off. That one chick, Madison, is that her name? She was hit or miss. Like, she was annoying in this scene, but then I really liked her in this scene. Then she was annoying again. I liked her. She was back and forth with me. But it's a great movie. Fun time. So, Zombieland, Double Tap, number 7. Number 6 goes to a Netflix movie I just saw recently, and that is 6 Underground. Are you noticing a pattern here? The more entertainment the film has, the higher chance it has of being on my list. This movie is a blast. Literally, lots of car chases, car crashes, gory Final Destination-like deaths, people being penetrated with forks, I guess, and just people's heads exploding with flashbangs. This movie has gore, it has tons of Michael Bay action-packed scenes in it. And you got Ryan Reynolds on top of it all. He's got that same Deadpool type humor that he brings to this role. He's saying witty things. And you got that guy from Magnificent Seven in here. You got the chick from Inglourious Bastards. It's a good cast. It's a typical, not very inventive plot. It's just group of badass mercenary ghost soldiers have to take out dictator in a foreign country because he's bad news. And that's it. But we're not here for the story. We're here to see what Michael Bay can do this time with the explosions. And it's a common joke that Michael Bay is just good at explosions and action-packed movies, and that's it. And this is just another example to support that theory, that he can only do this. I haven't seen any other movie from Michael Bay that's not just action-packed, and this is another one. But it's a fun one. It's very, very entertaining. So check it out on Netflix. Number 6, Six Underground. Number 5 goes to Elita Battle Angel. I missed the first 2 minutes of this movie, and I was sick for like the first 30 minutes, but I was still having a good time. This movie has amazing CGI, a great leading character of Elita. I wasn't crazy about her love interest in this movie. I just like, and they really, it depends on you to care about him and care about the relationship, because there's this moment towards the end, spoiler, where he's basically having to sacrifice himself. They're like, let's go, and falls to his death, and it's supposed to be like this impactful moment, like, no, why did he have to die? And I was just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. So, but I enjoyed this movie. I like Christoph Waltz. It's got, like, the biggest positive for this movie is the CGI is amazing. In the story, it sets up a sequel, and I like where it ends, and I hope we get another one. It was a good movie. I don't remember all too much, so I can't really elaborate more, because it came out in February, so it's been a while. So yeah. Number 5, Elita. Check it out. Number 4 goes to Ready or Not. It is about a bride who gets married to a rich family, and she has to hide. It's their tradition, and if she gets found, she gets murdered. There's a lot more to it, but that's basically the premise, and it is just a fun premise. It's a horror comedy, but mainly a comedy. I wasn't really scared ever, but I like this Samara Weaving chick. She is amazing. She's in Babysitter. She was great in that, and she's great in here. She's got some very funny, witty lines in here, some explosive moments where she's like ranting and cursing. It's hilarious. That third act, don't want to spoil it, but it goes in a place where it's like, oh shit, that made everything else worth it. Like, if you weren't on board, you might love that third act, because for the most part, this movie was just very like, it's okay. But then when you get to that third act, it makes up for it all. You're like, oh shit, no, this is great. Number 3 goes to a movie that everybody's going to say is the best movie of the year, and I agree-ish, but it's just not the most entertaining, it's not the most rewatchable, and that is Joker. This has easily one of the best performances of anybody this year. I really enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix's take on the Joker. I prefer Heath Ledger still, but we're not going to debate that here. He does a really great Joker. I like this new edition with the laugh edition. I thought that the whole, like, she was never really there, it was all in his head, and they were ever dating or fucking. I was like, well, no shit. Like, that, it felt like they were trying to make that a shock. Like, they're like, haha, we pulled the rug out from under you. They weren't dating. I was like, no shit. So, was that supposed to be a twist? It felt like they were trying to go that route, but I was just I was on to them the whole time. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that she's actually falling for him. There was no chemistry between them. She looked at him like he was a creep. But yeah, I like this movie. It's a slow, kind of slowish, not too slow, but character build. It's just showing this guy just having the worst week of his life, one thing after another, and then finally he snaps, kills a few people, and yeah, it's just a very interesting origin story, and I dig it. So I can see why people love this movie. It's got some great performances. It's shot well by Todd Phillips, and I like the score of this movie. I remember the score being very good. I saw this twice at theaters, so you know it's good. But my number 2 has to go, and I know I'm going to get shit on for saying this, but I don't give a fuck. Child's Play. I adore this movie. This is a very quick-paced, 85-minute movie based off of a franchise. It's a remake of a franchise that I grew up loving. So there's nostalgia, there's some bias here, but I love this movie. I try to show it to anyone I can, everyone I can, my family. I've gotten some people to watch it. Some, you know who you are refusing to watch it. Give it a fucking shot. This movie's got the best score of the franchise. It's got a couple of very unique kills, some of the best of the franchise. You got Mark Hamill playing Chucky, and I like his take on it. We don't get too much. We don't get that Brad Dourif thing that's missing. It's like a missing void. You just wish that Brad Dourif could have come back for this, but I guess it would have been confusing, because this isn't supposed to be tied to that franchise, so I can see why they didn't bring it back. But I think this is the better shot and better looking film out of all 8. There's just a lot more things going for it. I guess the bigger budget, but whatever. It's just a good movie. I like the third act-ish. I just wish there was more in that third act. It's very fast-paced, but overall, a very good film. left the theater satisfied, and I can't wait for a sequel, and I hope we get one. I even got the soundtrack right here by Bear McCreary. But number 1 goes to a movie that I saw 3 times at the theater. It was the first movie I ever saw 3 times at the theater, and that is John Wick 3. This franchise is easily the best action trilogy, action franchise, period. It's going to get a 4th one, so it won't be a trilogy for long, but if the 4th one is just as good as any of these entries, it's easily the best franchise, especially when it comes to action, ever. This movie's action is shot so damn well, like it just lets you see everything. It's 2 hours long of just pure action. On multiple watches now, it does feel like they overstay their welcome a bit towards the end, like it's like non-stop action. It's actually like too much action, if that's even the thing. But yeah, it's also just the most beautiful action movie ever. John Wick 2, John Wick 3, like just the use of neon lights, LED lights in the background, the way things are lit. It's beautiful. So it's got violence and people getting samurai sword, people's eyes being gouged with knives, people getting killed with a book. I've never seen anybody get killed with a book. This movie's just a fun ass time. It was the most fun I had at the theater, so it had to be my number 1. And if you don't like that, suck it. But those are my top 10 favorite movies of 2019. Put your list in the comments below. If you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button, share with all your friends, and become a subscriber if you haven't already, just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.